Very frustrating when you apply and you feel like you're going to get the job and then eventually you don't. Like, it can mess up with your mental health. Made sure to tailor my resume to every job application. When you get the interview, you most likely can, find your way to convince them that you can do that role. You don't care what. Hey my loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, you're welcome to the family. If you're a returning subscriber, it is good to have you back here. I want to say thank you to you guys because you guys have been nothing short but amazing. Like, since I returned back to YouTube, you guys have just been showing me so much love. So thank you so much. I don't take it for granted. God bless you. Thank you for supporting me. I was telling my sister that, hey, it's like I'm now a YouTuber low-key because I am here like recording, like there's this ginger and vibe to record, which is good. So yeah, anyway, so in today's video I will share with you guys how I got my job. I feel like it's something that we need to talk about more because being in Canada, if you're here, you know that the Canadian work or the job market is a mess. Like, it's a struggle. So you can be in the searching for jobs for like months and still get nothing. And it's very frustrating when you apply and you feel like you're going to get the job and then eventually you don't. Like, it can mess up with your mental health. So I feel like let me just share with you guys the things I did to get my job, because I got my job in my, I think, my 6th week of being here in Canada. Like, I even already knew by the 5th week, but then again, I finally got like the offer my 6th or 7th week. I can't remember. So I just feel like the things I did to be able to achieve that, and I'm not saying that maybe because of what I did, that's why I got the job. I feel like it's the grace of God. But then again, I feel like if I share my story with you guys, one person or two will learn one thing or two from it. So let's just jump right into the video. Basically, you guys know I just moved here. Before I moved here, I started to do my research. If you don't know, I live in Montreal, and Montreal is like a very nice city. Like, I love it here because there's like a lot of people from different parts of the world that's here. But one thing is that despite the fact that different people, international students, I think there are like two major universities, English speaking universities, so McGill and Concordia, is still in the province of Quebec. So there's still a need for French because there is like the need to preserve the language and the culture, which I really understand. Like, it's very important, right? Like, if you're everywhere in Montreal, you literally see French everywhere. You barely see English. So you should know that, like, it's a very important aspect of the community, which we all have to respect, right? And all of that. But then again, for me, that I'm from Nigeria originally, French is not like it's not even one of the things. We learn it in high school and, uni and all of that. But then again, since you don't, speak every day to people, you most likely would not even remember basic French from, uni or high school. So anyway, so I knew I was coming here. I had to do my like research. So what I did was, because I work in financial services, I looked for all of the organizations that provide services like financial services or organizations in that area. I started searching for them, their requirements, what I could even do, even if it's not exactly what I would normally do, stuff like that, just to get myself um in the job market. So I did that whilst I was back in the UK, just when we did our application. And I didn't apply actively because I didn't want to waste my applications. Now, because of I don't speak French, there's like a limitation. You understand? So even if I might be eligible for the job, like, as far as I don't speak French, I can't, because obviously I would have to interact with people that live in the community that speak French. So how would I interact with my colleagues, or let's say we have like maybe clients that live in Montreal and speak French? How would I interact with them? So it was very understandable, but I had to find the one that was not in that field and was not in sorry, the one that did not require me speaking French. Another thing again, I knew I was deficient because I don't have the Canadian experience. Now, people that have been here in Canada, Canadian experience, that obviously would probably be more qualified than I am or what I was at that time. So I just knew that, yes, I had a lot of work to do. But that was fine with me. I did my research. I started looking at the the possibilities of like the number of organizations I could work with, and I did that. I also tried to apply for and tried to look at cities close by to Montreal, and the major city was Ottawa, because I felt like with Ottawa, like 2 hours drive, even if I get an hybrid position, I could still commute. It might be hard, but then again, it was a sacrifice I was willing to make at that time. So yeah, so when I got my PPR, what I did immediately was I started applying for jobs. I revamped my resume to the Canadian standard because obviously I cannot be applying with the UK resume, right? It doesn't make any sense. So I revamped it, and when I revamped it, I started applying. As God will have it, within like a few days, I got an interview for with one organization. I was very excited for this one. And eventually, I did the interview, it was good, but because I don't speak French, that was going to be like that was like not going to work. So the lady asked if I spoke French, and I told them, oh, told her I don't, but I'm currently learning because I was actually taking like some online classes and all of that. But I mean that was not going to work. So yeah, I missed the opportunity, but I was fine. I knew that somehow something was going to happen and God was going to take charge. I had to stop applying at some point because I was packing to come to Canada. So fast forward to when I moved to Canada. For 2 weeks, my first 2 weeks, I couldn't really apply to jobs because we had internet issues. Like my house is like a new build, so at that point they're still trying to sort out a couple of things in the house, and internet was one of them. And so I could not really, even if I had my phone with data, like for some reason it was just going, like the data was just finishing fast, so I could not really proceed to apply as much as I wanted to. I had to wait till the end of my second week in Canada. We got Wi-Fi, and then I started applying aggressively. Like I said, I applied using the Canadian standard like resume and cover letter, but also I had like three different job sites. So Indeed, Monster, Glassdoor. Those are the places where I could find job opportunities, and I was able to apply. And honestly, I won't lie to you, it wasn't very easy because I was like, I had like, when it's like 100% and you can only apply to like 30% of the roles because of the language barrier. So it was hard for me. But then again, I try not to give up. As God will have it, I started having started having interviews, and some of them didn't get back to me. One of them was even weird because it wasn't just me; it was me and somebody else that we were interviewing at the same time, which was very that was a bit Ottawa self. And I told you I was applying to jobs Ottawa too, so it was very weird. But then again, I had this particular one that I was very very picky, like I was very particular about. I wanted that job, and I because I didn't need to speak French. But then again, I was like, okay, there's nothing God cannot do, right? One thing for you to also notice that when I was applying, I made sure to tailor my resume to every job application. Now, there's one thing to get a job, sorry, get an interview before you can now see that you want to get a job. Because if you don't even get the interview, how do you want to get the job? So, getting that interview to the interview stage, I feel like that's like one of the most important things because the moment you get the interview, you most likely can, find your way to convince them that you can do that role. But if you don't get an interview, then they won't see you, and if they don't see you, might just pick someone else because of what they've what's on the paper. So what I did was, to be able to get interviews, I made sure to like tailor my CV to every job I apply. So for example, if there is a particular thing that they required in this like job description and everything on my resume, I make sure to show that yes, I've done this thing before, or I have the capacity to do this thing and all of that. So that's what thing I did, and I feel like that kind of pushed my resume, past the 8 years, or what's it called, and I was able to get interviews. So yeah, this particular role I was talking about, I was I was praying about it. So eventually I got like contacted by the HR and all of that. And after a few days, I got rejected, and I was so sad. I called my husband, I was crying. Like this job was because I didn't need to speak French, and it was in financial services also. So I was like, oh my god, why is this happening? And at some point, I literally almost gave up. Like, you know what? Maybe I should just go back to where I started from the UK, and I'll just go to one of the factories and work. At that point, I didn't care. My husband was like, don't worry, don't give up. Like, I mean, you because one of the things that made us not even apply for a visa early was because I wanted to get the UK work experience, right? And that was going to kind of help me also with my application here. So I was like, don't worry, just calm down. You're still like very new. I think it was like the first month. So I was like, why are you rushing? Like people wait 2, 3 months. Even you, when you first got to the UK, like you were there for 3 months. Because when I was in the UK, I didn't work for the first 3 months before I started working. So it's like just calm down. Like we are fine for now. But I think for me, there's just this I need to get something. I need to get the ball rolling. I need to get work done and everything. So anyway, they rejected me. I was like, fine, that's fine. God will be done. So I remember the first week of my second month, my husband, we had like our monthly prayer, like beginning of the month prayer and everything. And I just had this urge to pray about restoration. So we prayed, and hey, as God will have it though, I would say it's a testimony. I just got an email back from the HR asking me when I can sit for an interview. I was like, wait, what? I thought you guys rejected me. I didn't even, but I just told them. And I had my interview like 2 days later. That was fine. I knew that I smashed that interview, like, because I prepared, I prayed, and that was fine. And before the end of the day, I got congratulations, you've passed the first stage, or yeah, the first stage of the interview. Well, like you're going to the second stage and everything. So that was good. Second stage was like 2 days later, and they asked me if I could, or maybe I wanted to reschedule to later. I was like, please, I can. So I had my interview like 2 days after the 2 days, yeah, 2 days. So I think my first interview was on Wednesday. I had the second one on a Friday, and it went well. I was sure I'll get the job. But then I was still like, hey my God, what if you don't? I've done interviews before that did not hear back, they did not hear back from me. So the next week I didn't hear anything. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then Thursday I get a call from HR saying, oh, they're sorry, they've not gotten back to me, but they were still like doing other interviews with other candidates that their schedules, because usually it's not just only you, right? There are several people, other people that they will have scheduled an interview with. So I was like, okay, fine, no wahala. But then I had that positive hope that for them to reach out to me, it means that maybe compared to other people, I was doing well also. I don't know. I kept praying. My family and I were praying. And by the next week, Monday or Tuesday, I got the job. I got a call, and I think you guys must have seen the vlog as I got my job. I didn't like get any reference or anything from anyone. Like it was just solely like applying and praying. But I just feel like God was involved in this process, and I'm thankful for it. One thing I would say is that if you're in this process of trying to get a job, please don't give up. I know it's hard, but don't give up. Just keep applying. See, I will say that within that second week and the beginning of the first week, if I not apply to job, I mean, and like I told you, I was not applying to only Montreal. I applied to job in Ottawa too, and I think even some remote job outside. I think I applied to over like 200 jobs, and I know that's not a lot compared to other people, but as God will have it, I would always say, my husband will always say that, or my husband will always tell me that you just need 1 yes. Once you get that 1 yes, you're good. And I have that thing in my mind. Even if I get lots of rejection, I just need one approval, and that's all. So yeah, that's how I got my job. Please, I'll say that just when you're applying, tailor your resume to whatever job you're applying to. Don't be too lazy to write the cover letter. I know it's hard, but have one standard, and then you can just revamp it to whatever job you're applying to. Also, try to network, meet other people, talk to people. One thing I noticed is that even in my organization, there's always this or refer program. So if you know someone that is I'm able to do a particular role, you can refer them to the job. And a lot of people actually get jobs from referral. So if you know people that are already working in an organization that's in your city or whatever, ask them, your friends, like family, just ask them that, okay, yes, I'm not sure if they're recruiting. Can you please check, and they can refer you and all of that. Also go for networking programs like events, job board, like is it job banks programs, or I don't know what it's called. I'm sorry, but yeah, seminars and things like that. Just go for things like that. Like meet people in your city also, talk to people. And also if you are like a permanent resident, for example, be flexible enough to move. I know that is really hard because sometimes you want to set in a particular environment, but just you can be be open to actually moving, because the way the job market is right now, it is very bad. But then you just have to do what you have to do, because you have to make money. No one's going to take care of you in this country. So yeah, let me just see, there's any other thing. I don't think there's any other thing that I have on my list here. But yeah, that's how I got my job. That's my testimony. I'm so grateful to God, because it was only God. It was only God. Like, I'm so thankful. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please just please in the comment section, and I definitely will be there to respond to you. But thank you for your love, for your support. If you've not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hmm? Please subscribe, please like, please share with friends and family, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. I've been dreaming all night.